What's going on, YouTube? Chris, we want to bring on an update today of ETH, and we're also going to be looking at the altcoins. And what we're going to do is just scroll through my list of altcoins. I'm going to pick out a few, see what we can get into today. But we're going to be looking at Ethereum here on the 4-hour time frame. I think it's really important that we pay attention to Ethereum for the overall altcoin health. Okay, and there's some important areas that we're trying to hold for Ethereum. We don't want to end up dropping down through these areas because most likely we'd have a deeper sell-off. But we're going to go through everything. We're going to look at support, resistance, trend lines. Going to get into a lot here today. So if you get some from this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's dig into this. So first of all, the main thing that we want to hold for Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame, you can see this lower trend line. So basically we've almost been in like a rising channel or a rising wedge type deal here. And what you see is that we are trying to defend this lower trend line. So roughly we would not want to drop below here on the 4-hour time frame. Roughly about $1,200 is going to be the area. Now, in terms of overhead resistance, what we're looking at, we're going to try to get through 1,379. Then it'll be up to around that 1,443. So we definitely could back test the top of this area in the days to come here. And what we need to do for us to really get moving and to get up above that $2,000 or to get to that $2,000 and even up above that for Ethereum, we need to have candle closes on heavy volume outside of this upper trend line. And what you can see is if we zoom out for Ethereum here, sometimes when we're in these bull markets, what we'll get this chop back and forth. And even when we have something that kind of looks like a rising wedge, it tends to break to the upside. Sometimes a lot of people, because a rising wedge is a bearish pattern, typically breaks more bearish. But many times in the crypto space, you'll actually see these rising wedges or these channels break to the upside. Not saying that has to happen, but if we can start having daily candle closes up above this, we could have a really nice target to the upside here, because what we do is basically take this base right in here, and this is just going to be a really rough line, guys, just to give you a little example here. So if we did end up coming up to that area and we broke out through, we could be looking well up into the $2,000, $2,500 range very quickly. So that's kind of what you do. You take the base of this and then you put it up to the upside, and you can see how far, and then you could also do that to the downside, and that would show that it'd most likely take us back down around that $800, $700 range if we had a serious break to the downside out of this. So that's why it's so important to put these alerts in. Right now I have an alert and alarm at about 1,327. To the downside, I'd put one at about 1,206 would be my alerts and alarms. On the 4-hour time frame here, we're looking at a 54 on the RSI. So we're really going to need that nice volume here. We didn't get a ton of volume in this area, so we need to have that volume continue so we can get up through some of these more aggressive overhead resistance areas like we talked about, that 1,379, then up to around that 1,443. So that's going to be Ethereum, guys. It's just a tough spot. We've just been chopping back and forth, chopping all around. We haven't had a ton of clear direction, so this is a tough area to trade in. So that's going to be Ethereum. You like me covering ETH, let me know down low. And also give me a thumbs up if you believe we're going to be breaking to the upside here in the days to come. Give me a thumbs down, or you can just say down or up if you think we're going to be going down, or just sideways, some more time chopping in this area. I think we're going to spend some more time chopping in this area, guys. But, you know, anything can happen in this space. This is the wild, wild west. And what we're basically trying to do is look at the price action. And price action is number one. That's why I don't even have the moving averages on right now. Just really looking at that price action, looking at the trends, trying to spot them as soon as possible. That's what we're trying to do here. So the next one we're going to get into, let's take a look at XRP. And this will be on the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour, we roughly need to hold about 25 cents is going to be our support. Overhead resistance, we're going to be looking at roughly serious overhead resistance. We'd look all the way up to around that 30 cents, that round number, and then be up to around that 0.34134. But what you have to be careful of in this area, guys, because XRP's been delisted and there's a lot going on right now, anything can truly happen. I mean, you could have a massive pump, but also you'd have to be prepared for another gnarly dump. You can see this big dump here. If the whole market dumps, you could look to see XRP back to around 17 cents very quickly. So this is where you have to be careful in these areas when you're having all this news surrounding a coin. So that's why right now I'm kind of just staying away from XRP. It's just one I'm not playing right now because anything can happen. We've been moving sideways, just a risky play in my opinion. So that's just XRP. Let me know down low what you're doing with it. Let's get into Litecoin next. Litecoin's at $130 right now. So what we were looking at for Litecoin was this triangle right here. So we basically in almost like a little pennant formation. We broke to the downside. It didn't come on a lot of heavy volume. What we're doing is back testing right now, this lower trend line. So we need to get back up inside that, start trading inside this triangle again, and then we'd have to get up through above roughly that $138 is going to be the area that we'd look for overhead resistance. But you know, guys, you got to really watch Bitcoin with Litecoin. Litecoin's an oscillator. We talk about this a lot. Many times when Bitcoin pumps, Litecoin will pump harder, and vice versa to the downside. You know, when Bitcoin drops really hard, Litecoin most likely will have a steeper drop than what Bitcoin will. But we have to be careful here, because if we do end up breaking down through, we'll call it $117, we could quickly look to around even that 100 psychologically, then it'd be down to around that 93.53. So it's all going to depend on what Bitcoin and Ethereum do if they're going to get moving here, because we have been getting hammered by these lower highs right now. So what we're actually trying to do in the short term here, we're trying to push back up and change that trend, because in the short term we're actually in a little downtrend here. And what you can see with these moving averages, many times if we put these on, you can see how they're pressing down on us now, right? And that's just from this, looking at that price action. You see I wasn't even looking at the moving averages, but I could tell that they were pressing down upon us. So we have some work to do to get back up through that area. Okay, the RSI right now is at 45, and that's on the 4-hour time frame for Litecoin. You can also see this area right in here as about that 117 to 120. That's going to be a hot spot in terms of support. We need to defend that area. Next one, we'll just kind of scroll through here. Zcash making a nice move up 11% today. Bitcoin Cash is at 394. Let's take a look at Link. We're at 23.57 right now. And this is also going to be on the 4-hour time frame, just staying on that. So we're still up above our purple trend line right here. So our uptrend is still up, or our trend is still up right now. So that's good in the longer term aspect of Link right now. What we're trying to hold as support is roughly going to be about $21.15. Overhead resistance, we need to get up through, we'll call it about 24.64, and then it'd be up to around that 25.87. So right now the trend is still up, but we're going to have to see if we can get over top of that previous high there. If we can get over top of that, it could be blue sky breakouts, but we also have to remember, just like this, when we got up through it this last time, we ended up having one of those dumps. So if you do try to do something like in terms of a blue sky breakout or chase a breakout, which I like buying after we've had deep retracements. That's one of my favorite things. A big deep retracement that I like to buy and try to ride it up. Not so much for playing the breakouts, but if you do play the breakout, always use a stop loss. Okay, right below that area, because you can always get that big dump right back on your face, and you don't want that. So I'm just putting a warning out there. Same for Ethereum whenever you're playing those breakouts. Sometimes, you know, they can be very successful, but other times they can dump on you. So be very careful with that. Like we said, RSI sitting at about 54 there. On the 4-hour, we're still up above our 20 EMA, our 50, our 100, and our 200 right now. So that's going to be Link. If you like me covering Link, let me know down low. We'll move into Tezos next. And for Tezos, we're working this channel as well. We found support off the 200 moving average off the 4-hour time frame here. We're sitting at about $2.94. Tough area of resistance for us has been around that $3. If we zoom out and really take a look at this trend here, this area right up in here, so $3 up to about $3.40 has been a tough spot. You can see back over here, that's a tough area for resistance. So in terms of support, we roughly want to hold, call it $2.56 overhead resistance, trying to get up. We'd say about $3, and then it'd be up to around that $3.17, and then up to around $3.34. If we take a look at Tezos here and some technicals, on the 1-day time frame, we're looking at a 1 sell, 9 neutral, 16 buy. Oscillators 1 sell, 8 neutral, and a 2 buy. So you can see we got a lot of neutral here. Momentum's going to be a buy. MACD level is going to be a sell. Bull bear power is going to be a buy there. And why we're looking so good there in terms of getting that 16, I believe it was 16 buy, is the moving averages. We're up above the 10, the 20, 30, 50, 100, and 200. So that's a good thing for us. Want to keep an eye on that. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today, guys. Just, you know, really watch Bitcoin, watch Ethereum. It's a sticky spot that we're trading in right now, and you need to be careful. Okay, that's all I need to put out there for you. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends. Take care, my friends.